Councilmember Cosarelli?
Here.
Kennedy?
Here.
Nattari?
Here.
Robel?
Here.
Strumelberg? Present. Mayor
Here.
Discussion and recreation fees. Well, Gregorian, what's his name, was supposed to come here, and I don't see them, so we'll have to put that off. Yeah,
Americans, so they teach your numbers.
yeah, we're working without a contract, right?
Yes.
We're working without a contract for the animal shelter.
That is correct.
So let's go out for, what's that called, RFQs?
RFQ, yes.
And see what other shelters we can. I went down to North Animal Shelter, like I was looking for a pet to adopt.
Undercover?
Yeah, undercover.
Undercover pet.
And I survived going through North and getting back to Belleville. That was the most main part. So, I mean, it's filthy down there. The animals are kept in dirty enclosures. There was a stack of dead cats and dead dogs. So I was talking to the lady. I said, you know, what do you do with the dogs and the cats that are healthy? The cats, they kill like in 3 days. You bring a cat down there, you know, even if it's a feral cat that they some towns do that release thing, they catch the cat and clip the ear, doesn't matter. They kill them in 3 days.
Oh, my God.
Then the dogs, I mean, they have this popcorn zoo down in, not popcorn animal shelter, somewhere in South Jersey.
Lacey Township.
Lacey Township. Some of the dogs they send there. And I know it's a problem, that there is a lot of dogs. I mean, on the average, 10,000 dogs get euthanized a day. But, you know, I first thought that they were a non-kill shelter. You know, that's what I thought they originally were. But they put healthy dogs to death. You know, so maybe Bergen County or Bukoski up here, I know the health department doesn't like them because maybe I think those animal shelters charge you for to catch the animal, give you the cage or something like that, but North doesn't, but it's just down there, I never seen nothing like it in my life, you know? And like the lady told me, you donate money, it says what did she tell me? We never said we save animals, you know, or support animal shelters. So, I mean, I don't know how long we've been without an animal contract, but how long?
7 months.
7 months? Well,
Since the beginning of the year.
let's see what we can do. You know, I mean, we're paying them, what, 80,000, 90,000 a year?
Almost 100.
Almost 100? And
I think it's 113.
I don't like paying 113,000 to put animals to sleep.
To follow up on what you said, because I know you brought this up before, and I had a conversation with Colleen Britton, the director of the health department, and she's been investigating other places, and I believe she has a place in Bergen County that is a non-kill shelter. But what she conveyed to me was some of her concerns are some of the other services that they provide. So what she's trying to do is work out with the DPW and other departments in the town how we can buttress the services of a non-kill shelter, because she understands how repulsive it is to the mayor and council and all the rest of us.
So I see no reason why the Department of Public Works can't go pick up a dead skunk, pick up a dead deer. I mean, I did it on the parkway. I mean, that was part of the maintenance job. An animal got hit, except when the state police came by and cut the horns off. But, you know, you would pick the animals up, that's part of your job.
You're right.
I mean, you know.
I have to say, I agree with Kevin. What they're doing to the animals is terrible. We definitely have to find something better than that.
Was it Bloomfield fairly active?
That's
Yes,
part of
they
Bergen.
It's part of Bergen, yeah.
That's why I went to the dog
That's
food
the
up to
kind of
that.
the animal
Yeah.
shelter, yes.
They have a fairly active group of volunteers that, from what I read. But I think Colleen
Can I
Britton-
interject something related to this? It's regarding the same thing. I brought someone to the town nurse a couple of weeks ago, and the day before, waking up, my wife went to the patio door things. What's that? I thought it was a frog. It was a bat. It appeared to be sick. I put it in his back pill. A couple hours later, there was another bat laying on top of it. So I went down, I happened to be here, I went in the health department, counseled with her secretary. She said, oh, really? I said, yeah, what do I do with it? So she called down there for me, right there from that. They said, oh, no, it'd be $35 fee for them to pick them up. So I took them out to the Meadowlands on the way out in Valley Brook Avenue and got rid of them. But she was even shocked. I don't know if she followed up, but she said they're not supposed to charge you.
Yeah, no.
And so she did a follow-up investigation, but
I'll check that out.
Tom, do you have anything for private?
No, Mayor, I discussed one or two things with the manager that I think we can carry it over to the next meeting, so.
Well, you have anything private?
Just one very brief item relative to the meeting that we had the other day, just to brief the rest of the council. Well, we can hold it, it's not urgent, we
It's
can
not
hold it.
urgent.
Okay.
See what kind of answer we
Right,
get.
see what kind of answer we get about Friday, okay?
We'll just stay in session in case the rec department comes, okay?
Yeah, but also now, let's talk about properties in Belleville. That lady up on Smallwood that has that tower and she has all the trucks parked there. As you go into her property off Smallwood, her driveway occurs on a 50 by 100 lot that the township owns. You know, they should make her move her driveway back to wherever it should be, and you should put that piece of property up for sale tomorrow. All right, and then on the division between Union Avenue and Dewood Avenue, there's a garage. Right next to that garage, there's a driveway. If you go into that driveway, there's about, I say maybe 50 by 50 lot inside there, which I believe Public Works cuts the grass up there. The guy who lives like the third or fourth house in has cut a hole in the back of his garage so he can use that property to do his business. So, I mean, if you offered it for sale to the 3 or 4 houses around it, I guess one of the people would buy it, you know? So we should look into getting that. There used to be a Public Works truck or a car parked there that didn't run, but somebody removed it, so he's back to work. So I like to look into selling those 2 pieces of property and other properties that are landlocked and throughout the town. You know?
Okay, I'll get a listing and we'll see what we can do. We'll notify the adjacent property owners.
Yeah, because there's a property on Hornblower Avenue and Academy Street. One of those guys could buy it. It's like sits up on top of a hill, so either the guy on Academy could buy it, make his yard bigger, or the guy on Hornblower that's using it could buy it. And there's other, I got a list a couple of years ago of all properties, but
Bella Casa.
yeah, Bella Costa's on our property, the parking lot.
Venero,
Venero, the trucking company. Oh, really? You can't sell those properties because that's
Morristown.
yep. Yeah, that's another thing. From the Morris Canal, when I was a kid, I used to walk from Harrison and Mill Street to Claremont Hospital. Now you can't. Everybody took the property. You know, like, can I put a fence out to Prospect Place and take that piece of property? You know, because I got that big piece of property, that big piece behind my house. I mean, what do you do, just put a fence up? I mean,
Anything else?
nah, I don't want to get on a roll.
Marie?
The process there is to appraise it, do an ordinance, and if it's not conforming, the adjacent property owners have the right to go and make a bid on it.
Except the Morris Canal. you can't say-
Right, you can't
Not on the
sell
Morris
that.
Canal, that's the other ones that he's still, the other 2 he's still
Okay,
going
that's
to.
all.
You won't use that one of these days. John, you have anything?
Carl, what's happening with the roads being paved? They've stopped working and they've disappeared. What I heard was that they went on vacation. Who goes on vacation at this time of year?
Not road crews.
And they're not road crews.
No, absolutely
This
not,
happened
yeah.
once before, maybe about 4 years ago, and there was an understanding that this would not happen again. People were calling, they started streets, Beach, other streets, and they just stopped, they disappeared. And
Are you speaking about just the concrete work?
even the roads itself.
Even the milling?
Yes,
They
everything,
started
is-
milling.
they're gone. And one of the workers told, actually somebody who's supposed to be here tonight, he told her, who's working on Beach Street, and he said to her, we'll see you in 4 weeks, we're going on vacation. So when she told me, I said, that's impossible. When I checked it out, actually I called your office, and one of the girls told me,
I
she
will
called
check
Tom
with
Harris.
Mr. Harris
And
first.
Tom said they're on vacation, because this is ridiculous. It's like
Yes, I-
joining a swim club and they close for the summer, when they go on vacation in the summer. So if you can check that out, please.
That's a definite.
I mean, it's ridiculous. This
Yeah.
is the time to be paid.
Yeah. We've been waiting.
We'll go on vacation.
Then you ready?
Yeah.
Steve, we're good. I have nothing either. We'll just hang in there, okay? Well,
Yeah, I don't know where they are. I told them 6 o'clock.
we'll adjourn the meeting till 6:30 unless the rec department comes.
Okay.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Here.
Kennedy?
Here.
Nattari?
Here.
Robel?
Here.
Strumelberg?
Here.
Mayor Kibble?
Here, pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Which I noticed,
Notice of the meeting has been given to the press and the public in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law.
Google Minutes, Kelly, take them all.
Yes.
Make a motion, we move them all.
Second.
Clerk will roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kibble?
Yes. Special action.
Mayor, this is the time fixed for the public hearing of the 2017 municipal budget. The budget was approved by the mayor and council on June 13, 2017, was advertised in full as required by the law on June 22, 2017, together with the notice of the hearing for this time. Mayor, I have a resolution regarding the reading of the budget by title only. Oh,
Whereas,
that was your part.
yes, it was.
Oh, maybe somebody else can start. You know? You want to read it, go ahead.
Kelly, just move your lips. Just move your lips.
Resolution to read budget by title. Whereas NJSA 48:4-8 as amended provides that the budget advertised shall be read in full at the public hearing, or that it may be read by its title only, if at least 1 week prior to the date of the hearing, a complete copy of the approved budget, A, shall be made available for public inspection in the free public library, if any, of the municipality, and in the free county libraries or regional libraries located in the municipality, where no county libraries or regional libraries are located in the municipality. The county or regional library of the county in which the municipality is located. And the public officer delegating responsibility for delivering copies of the approved budget to such library shall forward to the governing body an attestation that each delivery was made. And B, copies are made available to each person requesting the same during the said week and during the public hearing. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council of the township of Belleville that it is hereby declared that the conditions of NJSA 48:4-8 as amended set forth in sections 1A and 1B have been met, and therefore the budget of 2017 shall be read by title only.
Now I go.
Also moved it in a second.
I offer the floor, did we do that part?
No, someone has to move it in a
I'm
second.
offer the foregoing resolution and move its adoption.
Need a second. right?
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kibble?
Yes. Before opening this hearing, I wish to outline the procedure. Each person desiring to be heard will rise and give us or her name and address before speaking. I will recognize one speaker at a time in order of rising, as nearly as I can determine. Address all questions to the chair where necessary. They will be referred to individual members of the township council or municipal officials. Questions must be confined solely to the municipal budget before us. School or county matters are not proper subjects of this hearing and cannot be discussed and answered here tonight. I will allow each individual speaking 5 minutes on the budget. I now declare open the public hearing on the 2017 municipal budget. Mr. Frantantoni.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. First, you think you should amend it first, because there might be questions we have before the public hearing? It's a public hearing and then B, a resolution to amend. How are you amending it?
We're amending it by reducing the contribution from developers by $250,000 and substituting $250,000 from the water capital. So basically, there's no change in the appropriations or any other items of revenue.
Reduction by 200, but which? The 2016,
The
on page
2016
10,
is $500,000 in this for developers.
and the 2017.
In the 2017 fund. That's
So
going to
you
be
got
$250,000.
anticipated only 300,000.
It's anticipated $500,000
Right.
for developers. That's going to be $250,000.
250.
Right, there's gonna be a new line item there, due from water capital for $250,000. So the totals all stay the same.
What do you mean do from water capital?
During the year, one fund, there's a current fund, a water capital fund. One fund, they need money from another fund, so that fund will bring in their money. And then by the end of the year, that money should be paid back if it's possible. If it's not paid back at the end of the year, it sits on the balance sheet as a due from that fund. When that fund has the money available to return it, they return it, and you can take it as a revenue. It's had it been in there prior to December 31st, it would have increased our surplus by $250,000.
Mr. Frantantoni, I'll start your 5 minutes now.
Right. You know, we've been through this for 30, 35 years. On the budget hearing, there's no time limit as long as you're asking legitimate questions. Now, when are we gonna stop this shenanigans? As long as I'm answering, you got a
Because it's
$66
been
million
determined that other
budget. with-
It's been determined that other towns do it, it's legal, and then we will.
Well, nobody challenged it. But I challenged it years ago. And as long as a public hearing is required, there's no time limit as long as you're asking reasonable questions
You
and
got
not
5 minutes,
things
Mr.
we've done.
Frantantoni, you just use a minute.
I'm asking, it shows that for 2016, zero surplus. You're anticipating for 2017, $2,350,000 surplus. Where are you anticipating that money going to come from?
In surplus, we have it in the bank. In 2016, we didn't have any surplus, matter of fact, we had a deficit, we had a raise, you'll see in the budget, it's $176,000. During the year 16, we generated $3 million worth of surplus. Approximately $700,000 is what they call restricted, keep using. So we have $2,355,000 that's available to be used to support this budget. Governing body is using $2,350,000 to support the budget.
So you had, for 2016,
We had
we
no
took in $2.3 million more than we anticipated. So that's a big surplus.
Right.
Mayor, you know, the first year you and Mr. Kennedy were elected, those kind of surpluses, we attacked the DeGrory and Palante administration. And you blew it. You use it all up for salaries or whatever you want to do. I hope you reduce our taxes with this instead of leaving it in their account there.
It's not in the account, that's what I'm saying, it's supporting this budget. Without this budget, your
Right,
taxes would...
but it came
Without that
from unanticipated revenues of 2016, right?
It's surplus, it's money you have in the bank, it's there, it's sitting right there. They could have left it there and increased your taxes by X number of dollars. They decided to use it, so they reduced it. That's
The money that was generated and not spent out of 16.
In 2016, that's the answer I'm trying to get, a definite answer. So in 2016, we took in $2.3 billion more than we anticipated.
We generated over $3
generating
million.
that.
All right, well, I'm asking you to use it to reduce
We are,
taxes.
it's in the
March in the budget.
Under the construction code fees, it's something new this year, on one page, it shows that anticipated for 2017 is $592,000, and then on another page, it's $690,000. on the separate thing. It says construction code fees additional on page 10. Why is this in two different places this year?
Because if you look at last year's budget on sheet 5 or 6, whatever it is, we anticipated round numbers $1.2 million. But we only realized like 592. Okay, so you can't anticipate in the subsequent year more than you realized in the previous year. So that's why it's 592. Part of the money that we did not collect is now being anticipated on sheet 10 as a special item. We had to send down documentation to the division to support that 690, which they did, and they approved.
Under the clean communities, for 2016, we received $68,905. For 2017, we're anticipating zero. Did they eliminate the program?
We don't know if they eliminated the program or not, but what happens with that is if it comes in during, after the budget's adopted, which it probably did last year, you can anticipate that as a revenue or offsetting appropriation because it doesn't have any effect on the tax rate of the budget. All of those grants, you'll see a lot of grants that we had last year, we don't have this year. It's the same with any of those. If you don't have certification at the time of introduction or adoption, you can't anticipate the grants. But once the budget's adopted and you get certification of those grants, you can insert them into the budget and they can be spent during 17 years.
Is that the same answer for the WIC program? For
All those
last year,
grants,
it
all
was
everything on
40,000
sheet 9 and
and
24.
zero now.
Right.
Now, the recycling tonnage grant, did we receive anything for 2016?
No, I think that program is up.
Why are we anticipating 20,800 for 2017?
Because the state gave us notification that they had some money.
But we did not receive any for 2016. Cablevision, I'm not asking for an answer now, I'm just to tell you, between Cablevision and Verizon, we received $456,667, almost $500,000. Why? The public has been asking you for many years, why can't we put these meetings online as they occur? Because only a small portion of that can be used for that.
It's up to the council, but,
Well, you're part of the council.
yeah, I'm one part of the council, correct.
Yeah.
Listen, you want to bring it up at public participation, you better keep going through the budget.
All right, there's developers agreement. In 2016, it shows we received $750,000. From what developer?
You had a couple of developers. You had the Alma Group that's doing the Soho project, and you have the Topher Group that's doing the project at the old Roche site.
Well, how much each individual paid a pound, and for what purpose?
It was for anticipated infrastructure improvements and repairs that the town will incur as a result of them developing or redeveloping the properties.
I know, but you mentioned about 4 developers.
I mentioned two.
Alma
Yeah, Alma and Topher.
and Telford.
Yes.
How much from each?
I believe Alma was 750,000, and Topher was, I believe it was $500,000.
Well, that would come to $1.2 million.
Alma was around 7.
Well, they weren't the only things that were anticipated here. There were also some others. I mean, I can get you a complete listing. It's all public information.
I
just don't
know,
have
but
it
it says
yet.
that you received $750,000. Now, if we received $1.2 million, we should have an even bigger surplus.
Yeah, that's Alma. That's what I said. That's from Alma.
We received almost $2 million.
Right.
$1.7 million is part of where that $2 million surplus came from. It was really anticipated.
And the 750 was specifically from Alma.
Right, and we knew it was coming. The other ones, we didn't know if we were going to get by the end of the year in 16, so therefore we couldn't anticipate it, but they did come in. So that's.
They came in
They
2016?
came in 2016, $1.7 million in addition to the 750.
1.7.
1.7.
All right, well, if they
7.
came in 2016,
It's part of the
why
surplus.
doesn't this represent
Because
that?
it wasn't anticipated. The 750 was anticipated and realized. We had other developers that came in prior to the end of the year that paid their fee. And because it wasn't anticipated, I went to miscellaneous revenue, it shows the rest of the surplus.
Wow, you're getting better. Instead of a 48-point tax increase, we should be getting a decrease for all this money rolling in.
You're not getting a 48% tax increase.
Reimbursed drug subsidy, what is that?
That's something from the health package, the health benefit.
Yeah, it's from the health package, it's the excess coverage. When we pierce the threshold, we have coverage that actually reimburses us a portion coming back.
Right. You anticipated 123,900. We took in 243, an extra 119. That's more surplus, more taxes we should be getting reduced. We took in a lot more than we anticipated on that one also.
Okay.
On the, under the manager's office, the mayor and council,
Good job.
under the mayor and council, you got your salaries, that those are accurate. Under other expenses for mayor and council, what is $9,400 for?
That's for League of Municipalities, right? The telephones and any other reimbursements that they incur.
We're paying council members' cell phones?
Yeah, they're on call 24/7. I mean,
Huh?
you can't send out carrier pigeons. You have to get in touch with
You
them.
know why I asked? Because when I was elected, the treasurer called me and, Vince, we need your phone number, bring your, why? He said, because the town paid your phone bill. No, I'll pay my own. I never took a penny from the town for any of my expenses.
You had the car, Vin.
Yeah.
You had a car.
Yes, I had a car.
I don't think
But I
they had
didn't like to
cell
pay for
phone.
anything else.
Yeah.
I didn't pay for dinners.
I'll take the
and
car, I'll take the car,
municipalities.
you could have the cell phone.
Only used for town business, never anything else.
IT department, the salary is $71,762. Is that the job that was created for a certain individual which started at $65,000? Now he's making $71,700?
I don't know who you're talking about.
On page 14,
Yeah.
IT department it says. It says salary $71,762.
Yeah, that's the same amount that was in the 16 budget. That's the salary for the head of the IT department, who handles all the town technology.
Well, that's what I'm saying, it's one person receiving that salary.
That's one person,
All
correct?
right, that's the person that job was created for, and it started at $65,000, so he's.
I can't speak to that. I can tell you it's the one person that's been doing the job, at least for the 2 years that I'm here, and I believe way before that.
Okay, Vin, you want to finish up?
Garbage disposal on page 15F. The contract is $2,709,000. But the question is, does that include the tipping fees?
That's everything, that's all.
Well, you said yes, he said no.
I don't think no, because the tipping fees are on the bills.
The way I understand it, when I was going, the tipping fees are billed separately. The 2.7
Yeah, but
is
we roll it
for,
all into one item, one
I
line.
might be
Yeah,
mistaken.
it's all in there, it's one line. It's all in there, collection and
right, so when he takes the garbage down and it's weighed,
Mhm.
he paid, the garbage man pays that bill?
No, we pay.
He submits the bill to the town.
What does the garbage man receive? His contract is not $2.7 million?
No, that's the entire amount. That's everything.
Including tipping fees. All right, do I have to give you an open tomorrow to get it exact, because I don't believe, I think that the Kennedy's correct. The tipping fees are separate, and if so, I'd like to know where they show.
I don't believe that's the way it is, but we can absolutely
This
clarify
has
that.
been
tomorrow.
a fixed fee for the garbage man for several years, which I appreciate.
Yeah, it's a 5-year contract, we only entered
Right.
into it last
But
year.
again, we were 2 of these years ago. when
Vin,
we
your
did it.
15, your
Don't-
15 minutes is
Don't
up.
include the tipping fee.
Vin,
And,
last one, Vin.
well, just two items. Number one is the municipal service agreement, Essex Park, 34,432 on it. That's the reimbursement for the garbage disposal?
Garbage, lighting, there's several items, and actually we're in the process of renegotiating.
And the last one on the donations, is donations received from public events, 9/11 park donations, recreation trust fund, Soho Sitting Park, and baseball, softball. Is there a breakdown of how much was received from each of these events or entities, and how these funds were dispersed?
I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
It's all in the trust.
Yeah, it's all in the
It's got details in the trust, and I'm sure the records in the town has it.
I'm sure finance has that breakdown.
Nobody's keeping track of where these.
No, I think I said,
I think,
I believe finance is keeping track of that, I'm sure they can break that down. Yeah.
Thank you, Ben.
To sum up, man, there's a
No,
lot
you summed
of,
up, Ben.
there's a lot of
Next, anybody
surplus
else
on
want to
there.
speak?
I think we should be getting a tax.
I know, Ben, you always,
decrease.
we should always, you should always.
Mayor, can I-
Yeah, but you're not doing it.
Can I give a brief budget summary?
Sure.
It might answer a lot of questions, all right? The 2017 total budget is 64,038,998.94. The 2016 budget, total budget, was 62,296,338.99, for a difference of 1.742 million in round numbers. Total amount to be raised for municipal purposes, including the reserve for uncollected taxes, is $49,037,228.30. When we add in the minimum library tax, which statutorily we have to provide, that adds another $901,000 in change, which brings us up to a grand total of $49,938,690.55, which breaks down to an increase over 2016 of $287,868. And the main budget drivers, again, and some of these are redundant because they are recurring, you have health benefits, you have contractual increases, you have the Affordable Care Act bills that we need to pay, pension, and debt service, all right? So all of this translates into an increase on the average residential assessment of $238,100 of $47.07 for the entire year. That breaks down to about $3.91 a month, all right, for a total average tax bill on that average assessment of $4,364. And the last thing I'd like to add, Mayor, is that this is $1.3 million in change under the statutory cap.
Right, but there's a lot of
Anybody else
zeros in
wish to
here for
speak?
anticipated
Ben, you're
revenue.
finished.
Well, they're
Sir.
not, because you're not
Sir.
reporting all the
You're
anticipated
finished,
revenue.
Ben. Sir.
Ms. Carmine McKee, I live at 14 Brook Street. I've been here before. I have some issues.
I
Budget?
budget.
Oh, no, budget, we don't want that.
Make a motion. Jerry, what do you want to know? Jerry.
Well,
Jerry.
Not go on, stand up and say what you want.
I'll stand up for you. Jerry Del Gershio, 8 Grove Street. Mr. Tucci answered my first question, which I was going to ask, and that's about the 287,000 increase. That's all it is. The second question I have is under debt service. What does it mean, include for school purposes? That's all I have to ask. What does that mean, include for school purposes?
What page?
It's number 4 in the second column. On the summary,
You don't have any school debt service on
I'm just saying, you got it in there in parentheses, that's why I'm asking the question. Number 4 in the second paragraph.
You can't blame one of them.
Shut your phone off, Jerry. Maybe that's it.
It's not on,
get calls?
so it's only on a number.
Okay.
Somebody's hit your.
I'm not talking about mine.
Okay.
I'm not recording anything. I can't blame me now.
Maybe.
Okay, well, what are we looking for, Jerry?
Okay, in the second paragraph, on the summary, go down and you see a number 4, debt service include for school purposes. All I'm asking is what that means.
That's a typo. It should be municipal debt service, not school debt service. If you look at the budget on sheet 27,
Not, okay, I'm just going by what you got here, that's all.
that's the typo.
Make a motion, close public hearing on the budget.
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kibble?
Yes.
Mayor, I have a resolution regarding the amendment to the budget.
Clerk, read the resolution.
Resolution to amend the 2017 budget, whereas the local municipal budget for the year 2017 was approved on the 13th day of June 2017. And whereas the public hearing on said budget has been advertised, and whereas it is desired to amend said approved budget. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Belleville, County of Essex, that the following amendments to the approved budget of 2017 be made. General revenues, number 3. Miscellaneous revenues, section G, special items of general revenue anticipated with prior written consent of the Director of Local Government Services, other special items, developers agreement from $500,000 to $250,000, due from water capital to $250,000. Be it further resolved that 2 certified copies of this resolution be filed in the office of the Director of the Division of Local Government Services for the certification of the 2017 local municipal budget as amended.
I offer the foregoing resolution and move its adoption.
Second.
Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes. The resolution is adopted. Laurel, I want to thank you, you did a great job with this budget.
Good job.
I mean to adopt, you need to move to
You
adopt.
got to adopt.
Well, you still did a good job.
Well,
You
thank
did
you,
before
and
that.
and again, I didn't do it alone, I did it with the cooperation of all the departments and all directors, and obviously, Mr. Falcone was an unbelievable help again.
What do you got,
Thanks.
section 2, Kelly, or what?
Mayor, I will read section 2, the adopting resolution for the 2017 municipal budget.
I offer the foregoing resolution and move its adoption.
Second.
I have to read it.
Oh, okay.
Be it resolved by the governing body of the Township of Belleville, County of Essex, that the budget hereinbefore set forth is hereby adopted and shall constitute an appropriation for the purposes stated in the sums therein set forth as appropriations, and authorization of the amount of A, $49,037,228.30.
I offer the foregoing resolution and move its adoption.
Second.
Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes.
The budget is adopted.
All right, I want
Well,
to
again, you did a
congratulate
good
you on
job.
what you're getting paid for.
Thank you, Kevin, thank you, Mayor.
That's accomplished.
Report of the manager.
Yes, on July 11th, which was a Tuesday at Miller Montgomery, we had a water main break, and the water department replaced 6 foot of 8-inch main. Service to Clara, Mass. And the surrounding area was disrupted for a while, but then it was restored. The water department did an excellent job. And also on July 14th, which was a Friday at Belleville Avenue, 4 foot of 8-inch main was replaced for another water main break. Tonight, this is just an advisory, ordinance number 3, which amends an ordinance relative to the hours of prohibition of parking for street cleaning from the existing prohibition from 7 a.m. in the morning till 11:30. The proposal on the table tonight is to move it to 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And this is a pilot program that was proposed by Councilman Kennedy. I think it's a great idea, and if it works on this street, and I have no reason to believe that it will not, we will then institute this throughout the town with your approval. My last item is we are in discussion, and this was Councilman Nattari's initiative, to establish a theater workshop program for those in town, our youngsters that wish to participate in that, because everyone isn't interested in sports, all right, and we need to give them other outlets so that our children can express themselves. So we are in the process of putting that together. We will be sending flyers out to the schools and other organizations to determine the level of interest. That's all I have there.
How about the letter from Senator Ruiz?
Would you like me to do that now?
Yeah, do it now.
All right, I have a letter in front of me addressed to the Honorable Raymond Kimball, Mayor, dated July 17th, which I know the Mayor just recently saw this evening, and it's from Senator Teresa Ruiz, which basically saying that she's pleased to announce that the Belleville Public Schools will receive an additional $1,014,733 in state aid for fiscal year 2018, which is the year coming up. And it's our, she states in this letter that it's her hope that this year's increase in funding is just the beginning. I know that the school board has in fact adopted their budget. Is that correct, Mr. Barrera?
It hasn't been adopted by.
Hasn't been adopted, but I also understand that there is a tight timeline on this, and the deadline is tomorrow. In the event that it's the school board's desire to reduce that budget by this $1 million and change in additional aid. So we just wanted to bring it to your attention. And Councilman Kenny, thank you for giving me this letter. But I think it's something that, coupled with our relatively small increase on the municipal side, will help reduce, hopefully, that educational side and give our people some relief.
I agree.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to ask about the Civil Lake Firehouse. When is the interior renovations going to happen? Because I hear that every month and it's going on, and I'd like it done before the winter comes.
I know Mr. Hurwitz did in fact notify the contractor, and he's just waiting for a start date. I believe they're finishing up a job that they had previously started.
Okay.
I will get you an exact date either tomorrow if I leave it.
Thank you.
I did speak earlier tonight at the pre-meeting, I know some of you are here, regarding the streets and the fact that the contractors have disappeared, and some of you have heard, as well as I have heard, that they are on vacation. So the manager is going to look into this, and all of us up here are quite disturbed by this, because this is the time of year that they should be paving and getting it over with. But I did want to say that for people that came in a little later, that was discussed at the pre-meeting. Mauro spoke about the, we had a meeting yesterday in Mauro's office regarding the theater workshop. We had three excellent workers, women from Nutley that run the program there, and they gave us a lot. They gave me a lot of feedback and information, and we decided. By the way, when Nutley did their productions, they profited about $7,000 to $8,000. They profited on the production, which is really fantastic. So we decided to start with a feeder program where we would have a theater arts workshop for grades 3rd grade through 8th grade. I really don't want high school, since they have drama in the high. I believe they have drama in the high school. They should. So we're not going to do that for high school grades 3 to 8. 8th grade, we decided basically they meet once a week. It would be like a semester type of a thing, anywhere from 10 to 12 weeks. And we were talking about what place we could use, and Mauro came up with the idea, which I think is a good idea, of the friendly house, because there's a lot of space in the amphitheater. You need space. There would be no production. It would be like improvisation and scene study and mime and things of that nature. It would be more of a theater program, so if we get the kids, and we have enough kids, and down the road, we can do a junior production. We talked about a small fee, because they do pay a fee in Nutley, and a lot of other towns do that too. That fee would be used to pay for the drama teacher. The drama teacher doesn't make much money at all, okay? We're not talking, we're talking maybe $1,000, okay? 1,500 tops, and that would come out of the fee. A lot of people want this. A lot of the kids are not, some of the kids are not sports-minded, but they would like to do something else. In fact, a friend of mine just said to me the other night when we were talking about it, he said that would be great for my granddaughter. So we're going to meet again, design a flyer to the schools, and start this in September. So that's about it.
Hey, John, just to support what you were saying, I have to come in on the tail end of John, the meeting with John, and Nutley has a great program, and I'm very happy to see that you've been able to bring that over here. I think it's going to be a great concept. The other side of it too is we're all worried about the roads. I mean, it's just, we need some feedback.
Joe, I would be remiss if I didn't thank you.
Thank you,
for
too,
all the help you
Yeah.
gave us with this budget. You know, every year you're there, and we appreciate you, Joe. Now, you want to stay, or you can go, whatever you want. I figured you have
We'll spend some time with the grandkids.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Communications?
Mayor, point of order. I forgot one thing. Tomorrow, somebody's got to set up a committee to do something with the air conditioning in these buildings. I mean, since 2010 to now, We have spent $460,000, and I don't know if we need a new air conditioning system, if we need units separately in different offices, but we gotta stop the bleeding. I mean, it's $460,000 till today. There's another $5,000 on for tonight. I mean, it's enough. It's not working. Whatever they're doing is not working. And I don't know if you want to set up a committee to look into it or set up something with him, but the bleeding has to stop.
Well, we probably should with some of our professionals, right?
Absolutely, and I had one contractor who came in and did a snapshot analysis of the system that we have, and he's a pretty detailed guy and does some large work, but he said what he sees here would require an HVAC engineer. So it's something that we need to appropriate dollars for and get someone in here and correct this once and
I
for
mean,
all.
every couple of weeks, it's 5,000, it's
Yeah.
3,000,
This is going on many
5,000,
years.
8,000, it's gotta stop.
Yeah,
The manager's office is the worst.
totally agree.
Yeah, but I don't care who's on it, it just has to stop. It's bleeding. $460,000 for the council.
Communications
A request received from the residents of Belleville Street for permission to conduct a block party on Saturday, August 5th, from 2 to 11 p.m.
Make a motion to approve it?
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball? The request received from Belleville Buccaneer Football Parents and Friends Association for permission to conduct tag days on August 5th and 6th at local businesses.
Make a motion to approve it?
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
What is for introduction?
Ordinance number 1 for introduction, ordinance to amend and revise general ordinances of the Township of Belleville, Chapter 3-26, entitled Publicly Owned Playgrounds, Fields, and Parks.
Make a motion, we move it for introduction?
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball? Ordinance number 2 for introduction, and ordinance to amend the codified ordinances of the Township of Belleville, Chapter 8, Section 2.9, entitled Time Limit Parking.
Make a motion, move it for introduction?
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball? Ordinance number 3 for introduction, an ordinance to amend the codified ordinances of the Township of Belleville, Chapter 8, Section 2.7, entitled Stopping or Standing Prohibited During Certain Hours on Certain Streets for the Purpose of Street Cleaning.
Make a motion, move it for introduction?
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes.
Ordinance number 4 for introduction, and ordinance to amend and revise general ordinances of the Township of Belleville, Chapter 8-16, handicap parking.
Make a motion, move it for introduction?
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes.
Do we still need this second reading, Kelly?
Yes, we do.
All right.
Ordinance is for public hearing, second and final reading.
Ordinance number 1 for public hearing and ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation and to establish a cap bank.
I make a motion, to open it for public hearing?
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes.
Mayor Council, as I do every year, I oppose this ordinance. We're voting to extend the state. They've been bragging that they put a 2% cap on municipal budgets, but then they go and say you could increase it to 3.5% with no reason whatsoever. And you do it every year, and I object to it. If we stayed at a 2% cap, you could probably give us a 0 tax increase. So I want to go on record to once again oppose you increasing the cap from 2% to 3.5%.
Thank you.
Make a motion, make a motion to close public hearing and move for final adoption.
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes.
Make a motion to open up public participation?
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Mrs. Frantantoni?
Phyllis Frantantoni, Mount Prospect Avenue. A few meetings ago, Marie brought up about the illegal apartments. I would like to know if she's done anything about it.
You'd like to know what?
About the illegal apartments in town.
I brought it up and I spoke to the people and we're still waiting to see what's going on.
All right.
I can bring you up to speed
Oh,
on
okay,
that.
good.
The tax department and the finance department, which actually two different divisions of the same department, all right, are in fact speaking to see how we can get a notice into the tax bills.
And if you do put it in, put the fine in there that will be if they find the illegal apartments, because there's a lot of them around town.
And the
And I
fine should
see-
be high.
And I see we have a councilman that is missing again. Well, in case you people don't know where he is, he posted it on Facebook. And I made a copy, in case you don't know where he is, he's down in Florida. So if he can be a councilman down in Florida and be up here, I'm gonna tell my brother-in-law to run for councilman up here, he lives in Florida, because this is sick.
Does he have property in Belleville?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, he
He's
has
got
to
his
have a
for
residence.
sale. He's
You have to
got
have
his
a
for
residence.
sale. Well, he lives with me, okay? He lives with me. But that's terrible. If he lives in Florida, tell him to run down there in Florida. He don't belong to Belleville. So that's where he is. He's posted it all over Facebook. He invited anybody who wanted to call the company he worked for, and some people did, and wrote a response.
I know some people went to the state too, I think.
Well, I hope they do something about it, because he don't belong on the council if he's down there.
Thank you, Mrs. Frantantoni.
Patricia Wells, 8 Beach Street, Belleville. My street is one of the streets that was repaved, well, it wasn't repaved, my sidewalks are done, my curbs are done. But the problem is that it would have been nice if somebody informed us that these people just disappeared because our street is a mess. We have potholes from them digging, okay? The street is filthy dirty, and then the street sweepers don't come. They came this week, didn't come last week, okay? It's all dusty. The house is a mess from the dust. And then, it would have been nice because my husband had surgery, so I was trying to plan like what was going on, because you can't walk to get in and out of my house, and then they just pack up and disappear. And nobody seems to know where they are.
Patty, didn't one of the workers say to you, see you in 4 weeks or something?
Yeah, I went down to him because a cat got on my sidewalk and I have all cat prints in my sidewalk, so I said, can you come back and just patch it up? Oh, well, we're done for now. Done for now? You're at over the other end of Graylock Parkway, and that's where they stop. Done. And now we're in a mud hole over there.
Patty, we agree with you. We're going to get in touch with Tom Hurwitz. If this one outfit can't do it, then we're going to
Yeah, get that to her.
go out, print someplace else.
Totally agree,
Do
Mayor.
they have any bills on for tonight? Do they have any bills on for tonight, Kelly?
I'll check right now.
I'll pull the bills, and we'll pay them.
I have a few other things that I brought
Go ahead.
up with Mr. Tucci last year about the tree cuttings, the cherry blossom trees. You told me you were gonna look into it with the PSE&G to get the trees trimmed in town, and they're still not trimmed. I mean, they're going into the wires, hitting the houses. The trees are enormous. And nobody seems that anybody's cutting them. We're going on with this for a year now. And there's a few street signs that are either missing, faded, that we need to have replaced in that area, in Mr. Natari's area, that are just missing. And stop signs also. And then another big problem is ShopRite. People are crossing that street, somebody is gonna get killed. It's horrible. You come out of ShopRite, people going in ShopRite, coming out of ShopRite, there's no light there. If you look in Montclair, they have these lights where the people can push them if they're crossing the street. We need something like that in ShopRite before somebody gets killed. It's 4 lanes, people are flying through there,
We ran into this problem when I was with Pathmore. They don't want to put a light there because then we're going to be responsible and everything for the town of Belleville.
Well, I mean, we solved the problem with the carts coming out of here. This is another problem. I mean, it's not ShopRite's problem, it's the town's problem.
Well, they're
Really,
going to have to walk up, they're going to have to either walk up to Graylock or walk down to...
when you have handicapped people though, Mayor, that's a real hardship on a lot of people. And don't forget, the bus is right there. directly across from the ShopRite. So that people are going to get that bus.
Pat, just real quick, I think the light is gonna be a problem, but they have these lighted crosswalks, is that what you're talking
Well,
about?
I have it on my phone, I can show you after the meeting.
Yeah, I've seen the lighted crosswalks.
In Montclair, they have 3 of them, right in the North Row on Claremont Avenue. The people push the button, it flashes saying that somebody's gonna walk, it's mandatory to stop. It's, you know, it's like, if you don't stop and you hit this way, you're responsible anyway, but
Right.
these lights start flashing and tell you, you have to stop for these people. But down there, they're not stopping. I mean, you have to, for instance, all right, I'm coming down Washington Avenue tonight, this guy's crossing Washington Avenue, and he's looking behind him like, mister, keep on walking before you get hit. I mean, what's wrong with you? You know, you're not crossing in the light, you're crossing in the middle of the street. You know?
Relative to your signs and stuff like that, do you have addresses or at least roads?
Oh, yeah, Claremont Avenue has 3 of them. Yeah, Claremont Avenue has 3
You know,
of them.
we'll have the state look into that,
Yeah, I mean,
Because we need their permission.
because not just that, if you stop and let somebody cross in the street and you get hit from behind, it's gonna cause a big disaster. You know, and I do that a lot on Washington, because people are just walking in front of you. You know? All right, thank you.
thank you, buddy. Sir?
Okay, I'm on the, I live at 14 Brook Street. I have a hard time hearing. I have a problem with people owning property on the street and living in Maplewood and Bernardsville. And when you Google their property, landscaped, everything's nice and clean. The buildings that they have here on my street are in disrepair. I have pictures here of everything. They don't clean them. I have one that has broken windows, people get in, kids. They pick up the rocks from the broken driveway that's there with all the weeds, and they throw them at our cars. Little kids doing what kids do, and, you know, if they didn't have access to it, they wouldn't do it. Caught a guy on Sunday using the lot because it's not blocked for a tire repair shop on the street. I'm having a barbecue in my home and I hear all kinds of noise. I walk out and he's got 50 tires in the lot. And they told me, mind my business and walk away. I'm only 57. I don't feel like going to jail right now. So, I'm going to ask you is to please contact these people and have them fix their buildings.
And I'm gonna ask you, if you see major repairs done in the street, call our police
All the
department.
police department.
Because
That's the law.
they'll put a stop to it.
I know. It was late Sunday. Look, they do it here and there.
They work 24 hours.
I know. Well, let's not get to the.
No, I'm
let's
telling
not
you,
get to the
that's,
police.
we have to stop
Any
it.
repairs?
We have to
Okay,
stop
I
it.
understand, I know that. I've lived there for 57
Right,
years.
all right.
The problem is, you can own a piece of property, and most properties are for sale. You can own a piece of property, and you don't have to fix it or clean it. Your fences are wrecked. Their sidewalks disgusting.
Well, we will have our code enforcement officer look into that.
That's even better, because while he was on my street, and I pulled over, and I was going to my office, I saw him, I said, hey, how you doing? Are you here because I made a complaint? No, I'm eating my lunch, and he rolled his window up. So that's another guy that's gonna...
Did you get a name or a
No,
call or anything?
no, I was too aggravated. Like I said, I don't want to go to jail. Your people in this town are very arrogant. When I came here to make a complaint, the lady went like this, here's a form, fill it out, and she walked away from me. Fill the form out? No, I don't think so.
Okay, you don't want to call the police, you don't want to get the number. If you call the town manager, I know he will take
I'm
you.
not, listen. Years ago, maybe you guys got away from it, but there used to be inspectors that drove around and checked people's property. And they gave them tickets, because guess what? I got a ticket once, because my fence was a little rusty.
We still do.
You still do?
Yes, sir.
Not in my area, you know. If you did, these pictures wouldn't exist. I have not seen an inspector. Here, perfect example. Walk out here. To the, what's the street over here? This little side
Right,
street.
right, right.
There's a pothole I could fall in and you won't find me. And the house right there, the weeds in the backyard are this big. So tell me, who's inspecting what? The street sweeper for 2 years I've watched him. I actually know the gentleman. The brush doesn't work for 2 years on the side. I get nothing but garbage on the side of my house. Guess what? when I'm talking to Marie, they finally got the brushes in. The guy came down today, talked to him, hey, they fix it yet? I heard you got new brushes. They didn't fix shit yet. So, you have a town works department that does nothing. They don't do anything.
I disagree with you.
Okay, well,
I disagree.
you must live in a special spot, because I drive down Pickle Street, I can't drink a cup of coffee. It's boom, 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 boom.
Okay.
Come on. My street is torn up by Newark water, and I understand I had to force them to come and make a patch. Well, my street is cracking down the center. Nobody comes, nobody looks at it. I had to come here to get you guys to come and fill a hole. I mean, when you drive around and look at the town, the streets, they're unreal. Don't tell me it's not, and don't tell me you disagree. I'm sure you're gonna disagree.
Our town yard don't, our town works don't do nothing. I disagree with
Listen,
you.
they don't do anything on my side of town. And I pay
What's the
taxes,
difference?
I pay taxes just like everybody else does,
You're right.
okay? But I get nothing
And
on
if I
my
had a
street.
problem in
Here.
my house, I would report it.
How many times? Really?
I would call the police.
Calling
if they're
here?
doing-
When
if
did I
they're
call the
doing
police for a
repair.
pothole? That's ridiculous. I called the police when they broke into my car last Thursday at 4:30 in the morning. I got them on videotape, gave it to the police officer. What are they gonna do? And you know, it's funny, because the only thing that's worth it in this town is the fire and the police, because they actually do something. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I see the police coming down with lights. Check it. The fire department, no problem. Your public works department doesn't do a thing. And if any of them would like to come and talk to me, they know where I live.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Here, you want the pictures?
No.
Yeah, leave it.
Bunch of bullshit.
Thank you. Deborah D. Paul, 85 Loxessing Avenue. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here to ask for help in our neighborhood. We are infested with rats. Number 20 and 22 Harrison Street has the most horrendous conditions of rats running around in front of the houses, behind the houses, in the alley. Our yard on Loxessing is 3 yards back, and they are in my yard now. They have moved from Harrison Street to Sanford. I've notified the health department, and they are trying to help. They said that they notified the owners of the house, which don't live there, and, well, they're getting an exterminator, they said, but it's not helping. I got an exterminator to stop them at my point of my property. I have a yard that I love to be out in, and I have flowers and we garden. I saw 2 rats run through my yard at 6 o'clock at night in broad, it was daylight. And I won't go in my yard. And I don't know what to do as far as, can it go any further than just the normal exterminator that puts down poison and makes them run to our properties? I mean, I'm stopping it, I'm getting a second exterminator because I don't think the first one was adequate. I want something more professional, more high-end, somebody that's going to tent that property or possibly contain them, trap, kill them, and get them. Don't let them come to me and my neighbors here. This young woman's teenage son wanted to jog and was overwhelmed by rats running around the sidewalk on Harrison. He filmed it. I brought the video to the town.
Oh, you
She
did?
videotaped it during the day. It's horrible, it's a health hazard. I'm afraid.
We agree with you.
Thank you. I have a dog. I'm afraid to let him out because I don't want him.
And my dog.
Bitch, she has a dog.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Hi,
What do you want?
Oh, no, you keep
Yeah,
going.
you keep going. And there was a dead rat in her yard, and the animal control person came. I called the health department, and they sent someone out, and they picked it up. And the other day, her son saw it. We have pools, swimming pools. We have lounge chairs. We live in our yard, and we can't do it because there's rats running around in broad daylight. And I was told that, well, we have to allow them time. This is the process, and they are going to eventually kill them, the exterminator. But I'm asking the town's help. Could they step in even further to tell these landlords that something more has to be done? Or
I
can the
think we
town
can.
step in, the state, the county, anybody?
Yeah, and
Because it's a health hazard.
Yeah.
If we get bit, What happens? I mean, you know, my dog
Tell
gets...
them about the tenting that.
Oh, yeah,
Colleen-
I was told that there could be a tenting of the property where maybe the residents have to move out, not move, but leave the property. They can maybe bomb the property and then collect the animals, kill them. Don't let them run to our homes that
Colleen's
are
gonna check into
meticulous.
it, right?
We're manicured lawns, we have landscapers, we protect our property and value it, and we just don't know what to do. We're frustrated, all of us. They're in the street, they're running in the driveways. This big.
Like I told you, Debbie, I've
Yeah.
been fighting it for 3 years.
I know. I
In
don't
front
know,
of my house.
but
I
now,
tried
what do we
everything.
do?
I don't know what to do anymore. In fact, I just gave up.
Where do you live? I'm sorry.
I live on Hornblower Avenue, and I have had
What street?
Hornblower Avenue, right up the hill here. And I have had rats for the last 3 years, and I have done everything. I have done rat poisoning, I have done cementing the holes shut, I have done pouring rocks into the holes, I have flooded the holes. And every time they think they're dead, and the exterminator comes with the boxes, takes it away, two weeks later, they're crawling up through the front lawn again. I don't know what to do. I really don't.
Is there any, I mean, I know that there are bigger problems with this kind of infestation, maybe in like New York City,
Yeah.
or in these urban, where there's tenement houses. What do those people do? There has to be something more than just your exterminator that comes and puts a piece of poison, and they take it, they eat it, and they come back.
Yeah,
Or
but
they
now
go to
watch
my house where they're
some
water.
lady put poison out on her front lawn on Garden Avenue, and the neighbor's dog got out and ate the poison.
And I have a dog,
And
we
I
all
know
have animals in
My
our
dog
area.
actually picked up the rat in its mouth, and
We
my
don't-
neighbor,
We don't know if they're gonna make our animals sick,
yeah.
if they're gonna make us sick, if
Were
we
you-
go.
Were you the lady I watched him that the dog killed the rat last night?
No, she's
No, I
on the
live on
what's that?
89 Wattsessing. It's on
I mean,
the
what's
corner.
that? Was that the one yesterday with the dog?
Not yesterday, no.
All right,
This
so
was
somebody,
a
friend
week
called me
ago.
today, and that her neighbor's dog got one last night.
Yeah, it's very dangerous.
I'm just asking for any help or input you can, you know, the health
We
department is really trying,
Well,
but
we're
they,
definitely gonna try that.
all right, thank you. I mean, the average exterminator is not gonna do it. I've had two to stop them at my point, so I'm protecting the other side of the street.
Let's try to make a more aggressive
Thank you.
approach with those people that don't live in M houses,
Yeah.
and then we'll try to take care of the other problem.
Thank you. I was also told, I just want to make one more comment, that one of the residents there doesn't want to harm animals, so they don't believe in killing them.
Well, that's fine,
But not those animals. I mean, animals, yes, dogs, cats, pets, birds, but not rats. Okay, thank you very much.
but the Humane Society bring the cats in.
I'd like to make a comment. Hi, I'm Dawn Maloney. I live at 89 Watson Avenue. This is my first time ever attending something like this. A little background, I just recently put a pool in because my husband and I were gonna leave Belleville. My children really didn't want to stay in Belleville, and we decided to start investing, and I want to build up my home. And I was telling Debbie and my neighbor Chris how I'd like to be involved in improving Belleville. I paid for my children to go to school in Verona because I didn't believe in the school system here. I've been to third world countries where the roads are a lot nicer. But I want to be proactive because I love my neighbors and they're the reason why I'm staying. And I know Marie, and she's done so many beautiful things in the town, but I'd like to get to know everyone. I really would like to, work hard for the town of Belleville. And I know I have a lot of talents and gifts that I can contribute. But with that said, in regards to our neighborhood, our living conditions, it's really not something to be proud of. I'm kind of embarrassed to even have people come to my neighborhood, and especially with this rat problem, it's really dangerous. Like we were saying, we have pets, we have beautiful yards. My children, they love to exercise and they jog in the area, and that's what sparked my son to take the video. He's 17. He said, "Oh my God, I ran past this house and there's so many rats there." they're slumlords. I mean, these are people, and I love what this gentleman said earlier about, you know, very wealthy people that will buy property
Miss-
and take.
Could you just look to the
Oh,
side?
I'm sorry. But they buy property, they're investors, but they're not investing in their neighbors. You know, we take care of our property, right, because we care about each other. I'm next door neighbor to Debbie, and I want a nice yard, not just for myself, but also for her too. You know, it's, you're considerate.
We're
you know.
definitely gonna try.
Yeah. But how can we contact the owners? Like in this gentleman's case, in our case, you know, can we speak to the owners of the property and find out why aren't you taking care of
Well,
it?
if there is deplorable condition, we're gonna have to issue summonses, have
Yeah.
them appear in court.
Yeah, because you go to other towns like Verona, Montclair, people
My
take
friend lives in
pride.
Verona, there's rats in Verona.
No, I
You
understand.
know,
There's
I
rats in
mean,
New York
Belleville's not
City,
the
and
asshole
it's a-
everybody thinks
and
it
it's-
is, you know? You get on Facebook, everybody's telling you how rotten the town is, how we don't do anything for the kids, this, that. You don't like it here, people should leave. You know, I left Brooklyn because it was a rat hole. You know, that's why I moved here, I
I'm not
like it
saying
here.
that I'm leaving, I just said I want to invest in
No,
it.
I know you said you're not leaving, but you're saying how much of a crap hole it is, why
No, I
stay?
didn't. I didn't say it was
No,
a
she
problem.
didn't.
Don't worry about it.
Miss, we will take care of it.
Don't worry, we'll get on it.
It's the guy in the back that said it is.
I said it.
I don't recall him saying crap.
I said it was.
And I don't believe he thinks that either. They've been here for 57 years. I mean, there are people that really do care and you know, like where they live. Yeah,
We will-
so,
We will,
Okay, fine.
Make sure we take care.
we're
okay.
okay. You make that a priority?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
First thing
Bring the
tomorrow.
cat. Okay.
Thank you.
Should go down and get a little.
I'll get that.
Roll the cats on.
Roads and rats.
Still Milton,
Chris.
Humboldt Street. I want to know if Longo's still getting paid.
Yes, he is.
I thought.
Yes, he is.
Hi, I'm Susan Valeri. I live on Emmett Street. This is my first meeting also. My family kept telling me to stay away and keep my mouth shut. I think what everybody's talking about is quality of life issues.
That's right.
You know, I have that on Emmett Street too, these basement apartments. I understand that sellers have to get the buyers to sign and notarize these papers that say they won't rent the basement. And these buyers do that. As soon as you give them their COs, those basements are rented. You go knocking on 6 doors that I know of on Emmett Street, and their basements are rented. Okay? Then you have the people who are working on their cars in the street. Emmett Street is a drag race. The cars speed up and down. I have an abusive neighbor of a handicap spot. You just gave new handicap spots away. That's great, and I have no problem with somebody getting a handicap spot. But when it's abused, I have a problem with that. When everybody in the house can park in that handicap spot with no placard, no license plate, no cop gives them a ticket, then I have a problem with that. But quality of life is the issue on all of these. Nobody wants to leave, and we're not calling it a crap thing, but I've been here all my life. It's just the quality of life is changing. And I'm surprised to see I'm glad a lot more people came, but I'm surprised to see how few people come here. I went to a neighborhood watch meeting back in September. I was surprised to see how few people were there. I don't think that many people care about their quality of life. But you see, the people here do. So I know there's only so much you could do, but issues have to start being addressed. They really have to start being addressed. Or you're going to see people leaving. A lot of people are leaving. A lot of people are leaving. My neighborhood's changed. I think there's 5 original people left. So it's changing. And I'm coming back for more meetings.
Thank you.
Well, in addition to the rats, 2 weeks ago, I caught 4 groundhogs in 2 days. The Humane Society picked up the traps. The other 2, I caught 2 in 1 day. It was a weekend. They said we don't pick up on the weekend, so I took them all the way out into the meadow. But that is a problem. And because the lady just spoke of the illegal apartments, my wife and I bring it up. I finally, through the beginning of this year, I finally, after 20 years, got a couple of doors from me. They caught him, they brought him to court and fined him. The truck came, the people moved out of the attic. 3 weeks later, they're back in the basement, they're back in the attic.
That's true.
Now, your
And
Mr. Groleman was there one day, he gave the 7 huge pails of garbage. He's so slick, he waits for my neighbor to go to work in the morning. He put 2 in front of his house, 2 in front of my neighbor's, and then the audacity to put 3 in front of my neighbor across the street who works in New York. And he's such a dummy, well, he's not dummy, he's slick, he's making a lot of money. He's got all his address on all the things there. So I called the town several times, but that time they tried to get him, the inspector up here before the garbage man come. And he didn't give him a ticket, he told him to keep his garbage in front of his own house. But now something else has happened. He's got the people back in there, 4 apartment, it's 2-family house with an attic plus a basement. He hasn't put a single piece of garbage out. In the middle of the night, we hear something going on in his trunk and he takes off. I don't know where he's bringing the garbage. But garbage day now, not a single pail is out there. So you've got to do something about this, and you've got to do, and Mr. Tucci, my wife said, I've been asking for years, there's got to be a big, bold notice in the tax bill. Don't send that envelope out empty. It's got to be big, and the sign, we're going to get you these illegal apartments that we can't, especially Thursday street cleaning on the other side of my street. So all those illegal apartments park on my, we can't park in, we can't park in the street. But anyway, something else I've been bringing up for many years. And Mr. Kennedy, you know full well, my street, United Ford, the guy over there that takes up every meter all day long, right between the house next to the bank, there's 2 meters, but he's got little foreign cars, so he parks 3 cars there all day long. It's not enforced at 2-hour limits. Last year, you spent our tax dollars to put brand new 2-hour parking limit signs. They're not enforced for this guy. They drive right past. I'm losing my customers like crazy. They can't park. They can't. And the other businessmen complain the same thing. But something I noticed the other day, we go to ShopRite parking, and we stopped. I said, wait a minute. Why are there no meters on Washington Avenue north of Greylock Parkway? Those businesses enjoy free parking all day long, the residents there. My tenants get tickets if they park at the meters. My customers, if they get a charge, they got to pay a meter. Why don't we have meters up there?
Months ago.
There was never meters there, that's all I can tell you, and we never passed a resolution or an ordinance to put them there.
Okay, well, maybe now, can we? There'd be another source of revenue, please. Let's get it so everybody pays. Because then, if my business and my tenants have to pay, my property value should be good. My assessment should come down. Because it's another problem on my property. And in regards to the illegal properties that people are using, Wallace Street, there's that you're talking about, you mentioned Bella Casa. That piece of property that Venero's on, in fact, Mr. Kennedy, you attacked me when I was in office, and I was renting it to him for $1 a year. That wasn't mine, that was the Marotti contract, you'll remember. But anyway, there was 2 months left of the contract, I got him off that property. I get out of his office, he's back on there. Now that property from Wallace Street to Action Street is 55 by 195. Just before I got out of office, I was working with Sal down at Texas, subdivided. You got 2 2-family lots there. One fronting on Wallace, one fronting on Acme. You need 5,000 square feet. You'll get it for each lot there. And we can sell them. And the Morris Canal property, years ago, I believe in the early 80s, the state gave anybody, any town that had Morris Canal property, the title reverted to you. So that's your property. You can sell if you do it properly. When I had to go to the state police, when the previous council tried to sell a piece of the Morris Canal, they could have sold it. The problem is they did it illegally. You see, you can't just give it to the adjoining property owner. You have to put it up for public sale. And finally, this air conditioning problem is a disaster. A little while ago, a doctor I worked for, there's about 32 rooms in there. They were having the same problem. This girl's cold, this girl's hot in that office. engineering firm, air conditioning firm, oh, we gotta redo the whole ductwork system, it's gonna cost you tens of thousands of dollars on all this. I've been working here for 41 years, 1976. Vinnie, can you take a look at, yeah. I just put my ladder up, I went above the ceiling. Behind every vent, a couple of feet from the vent, there's a damper and a little handle. So you can turn it all the way, 90 degrees, shuts it off, or a little bit, and you can regulate how much flows through it. I did 11 rooms, end of story. And I charge him the outrageous sum of $100. So, will somebody look at, now remember a few years ago, right here, we paid a contractor on the agenda $38,000. He was going to take care of the ductwork system. What happened to that? Do we hold any of these contractors responsible when the job isn't done properly? And now Ms. Kennedy's at $460,000. Does anybody over in your private homes, you would not let a contractor get away with it if you didn't find out the proper job. And now we're talking, oh, Mr. Tucci said we had a guy in here and we need a professional engineer. More tens of thousands of dollars for an engineer when it might be a simple adjusting of the ductwork. I keep telling you, turn some of these ductworks upside down so the air blows up on the ceiling and not down on our necks. That would be the 2 screws, you know, take them and turn them around. So there's some simple problems. Well, please take care of it. But this meter parking, please let's do something about it. We're losing customers like crazy.
We'll see, and I don't know if we'll have to get petition the state for it because it is a state road.
What, yeah, but you did it years ago. You know what happened?
I don't know, I said we'll find
None
out.
of these meters were illegal because the town never applied to the state.
Yeah.
So they applied, and in 9 months we got the state ain't gonna give you a problem.
That's what we're gonna do.
No, do it.
Okay.
And enforce the 2-hour limit, please.
Lawrence?
Everybody's got rat problems, I got groundhog problems running around my yard, now they got a bunch of babies. I don't know, you can't even sit in the yard, you can't enjoy the yard because
I
they're
saw a
hopping
deer
all
in the
over the
reservoir
place.
last week.
So, you know, and I have everything just cut and blown and then whatever, so there's no mess in my yard, but I'm overloaded with them, believe me when I tell you. I just wanted to ask tonight, Mr. Tucci, do you think that some money from the town could be freed up that belongs to the library to take care of some projects that we have lined up that we can't do anything about? And I can't believe that there's no survey for that property. We have a problem with the back wall. It's going to come tumbling down. The back stairs definitely have to be done going down to the children's section of the library. People go by and they're criticizing the library, what it looks like. We don't want it to look like some of the places in town. We're trying to keep it looking nice, but we need our money. And if we don't get it before a certain time now, you know then that we lose it. So if we can we please give the library some money so we
Mark's
can
looking
get
at
done
that
with our
right now.
projects?
I got a letter from the library and we're looking into it this evening.
We've had guys from DPW come over and inspect the walls and everything, and they know what is really bad around there. Because just recently too, this truck pulls up next to my house and they're gonna take out an oil tank because people on the corner sold. And I went out, it's a good thing. The first thing, they're gonna use my nice driveway. Well, no, you're not using my driveway. And I have zoysia grass, which takes time, you know, to grow, but when it does, it's beautiful. And people compliment my lawn when they go past the house and even my backyard the way it is with the grass. But anyway, they're gonna start digging, and I said, excuse me, do you have a survey? Because if you ruin my grass, you are going to replace that grass. I was the only one that had a survey. I came out with my survey to show them where the property line was. I can't believe people don't have surveys. And they're gonna come dig. And it's a good thing I was home that day because I spoke to Vinnie, Frantantoni, and he happened to come over there because what was I gonna do if they started digging? Then they broke a section of retaining wall to get the thing up there to pull the tank out. When they did, they broke the wall. The other day I look out, there's people coming now because they want to close, and they're going to repair the wall. They took a section of mine, but they ended the board like here. I said, whoa, wait a minute, you have to come all the way over here. You have to fix my side also, because that got broken with their project. And this is some of the things that we go through. And not only that, you know what? If our taxes keep going up,
Where are we supposed to get the money to keep our property in shape? And then we get a summons from the town if you don't. One of the men from town called me up that he got a summons that he had to cut his grass. This was the beginning of the season. The grass only just started growing, and he got a summons to come to court. And it happened to be 2 doors away from Joe Longo. Wasn't that strange?
It's
Right?
amazing, if we try to correct property problems, we get hollered at. If we don't, we get hollered at.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I try to keep my property up, and I'm living without a pension, and I have to keep up my property, okay? And if I can manage it, to make sure that I get that grass cut, you have to bargain with the people, come in and cut, blow, clean the thing up, and I don't have a problem with that, thank God, that I could stay there in my home. But again, it's nice to own a home, but you need the money to keep it up too. And if you don't, you get a summons. So, one way or another, I just got my property tax freeze check. Thank God, I was wondering what the governor was gonna do to us next, because he did take our homestead rebate, half of that. And I was afraid he was gonna do that with the property tax freeze, but so far he didn't touch us because there's an election coming up.
He'll get to it, he's getting into the pensions just though.
You know, we all have problems, and the town has to understand it. But I came mainly, please, let's do something about the library money, we need it. And we have our committees, we have meetings, we know what we have to do, our hands are tied, we don't have the money. You know the contractor walked off the job, so there we are with that project. Okay?
Okay.
So, please, help us out.
Morris, it's good to see you back.
Thank you.
Beckham, oh.
Good evening. My name is Christine Hirsch. I live at 90 Watson Avenue. Please order. Louder? My name is Christine Hirsch. I live at 90 Watson Avenue. I have been a resident of Belleville for over 25 years. We are very invested in the town. We had a daughter go through our public school system. My husband and I are a little crazy. We go around trimming the trees because we don't have the luxury of public works coming and manicuring the trees on Watson and Sanford. My husband and I take that on at least once a year to go and make sure that branches are taken care of, that there's no overhang. When the town sweeper comes along and knocks either limbs or a part of a tree down, we also attend to that. The rat situation has got me extremely upset. I have a young daughter who works in the hospitality field, and she comes home very late at night, and she has to walk in the house on her own. And I live across the street from the ladies. Fortunately, I haven't seen any on my property, but I think my stray cat that I take care of kind of keeps them at bay. But that's a concern of mine. The fact that there are some homes and lawns in the area that are in extreme disrepair is a concern. There should be someone coming out from the town ordinance department and driving around. I mean, if you want me to call the town ordinance department when I see something, I'll do it. I have no problem with doing that. Our police and fire department, I can't speak highly enough about them. They are responsive, they are caring. The police officers have, when my daughter was younger, was outside, one time she fell off her bike, the cop stopped and asked if she needed assistance, which I thought was lovely. She had a flat tire recently. The cop changed it for her because he didn't want her sitting on Mill Street on the blind curve with a flat tire and getting ambushed by a car that comes speeding around that area. Speaking of Mill Street, the new senior citizen housing development is lovely, but those folks that have to cross, that come down the driveway to cross over to go down to the bus stop, are in grave danger with cars speeding. I almost saw an old woman get clipped because they're coming around and they're not cautious. I actually called the police department that day, and they told me to call public safety. I'm just concerned about the overall look of certain parts of the town. And again, we're here, we've been here, we plan on staying here. We do what we have to do to maintain our area and our property. We as neighbors go out when the street cleaners don't come by and sweep our own streets. we go out every garbage day when the recycle guys take the cans and toss them, and there's crap all over. We do the same thing with the garbage trucks. The guys who, and I know it's not an easy job, I know it's not a pleasurable job, but it's a job. And my feeling is if you take a job, do the job, or give up the job and give it to somebody who wants it. I had to call Public Works a couple months ago. The guys take the cans, they empty them into the truck, and they literally left one of my garbage cans in the middle of the street. That's a hazard to cars that are driving by. Plus, it's also a hazard to the garbage can that I spent $55 on to have a good can so the guys don't have to pick up crap. And I bought 3 cans, and I spent a lot of money. I spent $150 on 3 garbage cans, and they treat them like garbage. So I would hope that we could do something about that. The rat population is definitely very upsetting to me. I happen to be the one who was home, Dawn was away. Her daughter called me hysterical in the morning that there was rats in her backyard, and the dog went after them. I spoke to the Humane Society guy. He went around the block, we gave him the address, he went around, he says, oh, the woman doesn't care. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but I don't want rats in my yard, I don't want them in my house. I can't even imagine what it must be like to have them in your home.
Miss, we heard quite a bit about that.
I understand, but something
And we're
needs to be
gonna try
done
to
to
take care of that
increase,
problem.
and something needs to be done to increase the fines on homeowners. We have a town with a lot of multifamily dwellings, and a lot of these homes, the owners don't live there. And especially in our neighborhood, on Washington and Sanford, there's a lot of multifamily homes, and the owners are not maintaining those properties. Thank you.
Mrs. Fleischman?
Carmela Fleischman, 132 Franklin Street. Good evening. Mr. Tucci, I would like a phone call when the work at the firehouse begins, if that's all possible. Because again, we've been hearing that it's going to start, it's going to start, it's going to start. I'd like a phone call. You know, I believe you have my cell phone. If not, I'll give it to you after the meeting. I know I've brought this up in the past about a camera on corner of Magnolia and Franklin. Has anyone reached out to the county?
No, not to my knowledge.
Can we do that? Again,
I believe the police department is surveying different spots in town.
Again, every meeting, all the residents bring up certain things. And again, we don't want to give the impression that we're dissatisfied with the police or the fire department, okay? Because those guys work very, very hard, we all know that, okay? But you're asking them to do too much. Surveying this, surveying that, doing this, doing
It's their
that.
job.
It's their job.
Sir,
It's their job, what do you want us to
Mr.
do?
Mayor, I understand it's their job, but you're taxing them too much.
Well, then we'll put more on.
Then, fine, hire more. Where's that money gonna come from? Okay, everybody's been yelling at you guys tonight, and we're angry. We've had enough.
I think our police department and fire department do a great job.
I'm not
If you look in
saying,
the papers every week what's taking place in the town of Newark,
again,
and because we're not getting a camera put up so they're making left turns on Magnolia, that is probably not a priority for them right now.
did I say one bad thing against the police or fire department? No. I said they're doing a fine job. I'm saying what I say every
No, you
meeting.
said we put too much on there.
Right, because you do. You're expecting the same number of men and women who...
And if I put 10 more on, I would get complaints about the taxes.
That, we don't, fine,
How's
for
that?
extra protection, I'll pay the extra
You'll pay.
taxes. Okay? But again, why, every meeting, why is this such a battle? Because...
It's not a battle.
It is a
It is not
battle.
a battle. And you know what? Mr. Tucci says he would call you when they're gonna do the firehouse.
Right.
I don't know why he has to call you when they're gonna do the
Because
firehouse.
I've been asking
When
for
it gets
3
done,
years
it's
for
gonna be
the
done.
firehouse to be reopened.
We're residents.
You're residents, but you're not officials.
Does that make us any different?
No, but there's no reason for us to call you saying that they're gonna work on the firehouse.
I can't wait for next year, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to campaign.
You
my
could do
butt
whatever
off
you want, Mr.
against
Fleischman,
you.
okay?
Are you done yelling
I'm
at him
gonna
now?
lose weight.
Good.
Are you done yelling at him now? 'Cause you
No, is he done hollering at me?
No, he'll yell at you in a minute. Because we're, you know, again, there was another accident in front of the house, in front of the, on the corner of Magnolia
I
and
know what you're
Franklin.
doing. You're complaining about the cars pulling out on Franklin Street, making a left on Magnolia.
No, I'm not.
Right? That's what, wait, is that why you want the camera to catch it? Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be a good idea to make more money for this town if you can find them? What can't, wait a minute, since 7 people are
You can't
talking
use
at once.
cameras. You can't use cameras for some.
That's done.
Okay, why not?
Because
They changed the law.
Who changed the law?
The state.
Hey, it's illegal.
You don't get tickets off cameras anymore. It turned into a nightmare.
You guys are gonna do what you're gonna do. I'm not done arguing. No, I'm not done arguing with you guys, but you guys are gonna do what you're gonna do. And like he said, hopefully next year when some of you guys are up, obviously maybe some people get more brains in this town. Maybe.
Maybe,
Yeah,
Maybe,
right.
we'll see what happens.
maybe they'll put the cameras up for you.
That would be lovely.
Just wanted to bring up the crosswalks. It's the summertime. Fall will begin, or the end of the summer begins, the school again comes back around. So maybe we can have all the crosswalks, especially those in question, where they're definitely frequently utilized, like crossing Geralman for the kids to cross the width of it. That we need striped crosswalks so that the vehicles who are hesitant to stop under any circumstance, and I'm right there at the bottom of Garden Avenue where the flashing lights don't stop them. And so it's unbelievable how many times that they really are risking their lives to change, cross the street and go on about their day, including the kids going back to school. If we stripe clearly the crosswalks, that helps a lot. It really does. The visual, that this is an intended crosswalk. People are in the crosswalk. Stop, or get ticketed. And that's what happens. And even with the flashing lights, occasionally Chief uses it as a sting. They sit up right in there in the park. They drive right through it, pull them right over, give them a ticket. It works. It really does. And we have various stop signs that are now been recently installed. Nothing is in the street. They're generally ignored, right at the end of my block. So where my business is on Roosevelt. And so, we need to stripe those at least halfway through the street to show it clearly. And we do have a lot of, it was a really big growth season this year with all the rain and all the growing of the greens. It really has. And we have a lot of things almost obscuring stop signs. So as you come up on them, and you're not really getting it necessarily, now you're right on top of it, you notice that there's a stop sign. They've got to be cut back. They've got to be. And right at the rec house, when you're coming on Garden onto Geralman, it's very busy and been used all year. It's almost covered over by you're covering the stop sign. So restripe all those intersections, make them very deliberate, those that aren't being repaved, and then obviously normally when the roads are repaved in major intersections, they stripe them. And that'll go a long way to making the town safer and making the police's job a lot easier when people disobey, both pedestrians and vehicular movement.
Thank you, Jim. Make a motion, close public hearing.
Councilmember Coverell?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Story?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kibble?
Motion, move to consent agenda.
Second.
Me, no.
Was that paving contract on, Kelly? Did you see any? They're not out there, Bill?
I look,
No bill.
I look, no bills.
Mayor? Mayor? No. You remove resolution number 5 is no longer needed, we approve the budget.
Okay, so
Make a
call-
motion to remove resolution number 5.
Second.
Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
No.
No.
Kennedy?
No.
Nattari?
No.
Robel?
No.
Strumelberg?
No.
Mayor Kimball?
Yeah, Lori, move the consent agenda. All right, Kel?
Yes. One step report.
Clerk call roll on the consent agenda.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Under new business, I move the request received from the residents of Van Houten Place for permission, I gotta take my glasses.
To conduct a
For
block
permission
party.
to conduct a block party on Tuesday, August 1st, 2017, to celebrate National Night Out from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Second.
Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg? Yes. Mayor Kimball?
Yes.
I think that it's time that this town had a shade tree department. Everyone loves trees, like I do, but they're overgrown, they hang down, they're dangerous, and I think we need a small shade tree department. Also, these illegal apartments, maybe we should hire some inspectors just to do the illegal apartments. I know there are certain rules, so we have Mr. Murphy, who's our attorney. I'm sure that he could come up with something, how we could get into houses.
That's the problem, Deputy Mayor. The issue is, that issue was raised a few years back where the Board of Ed wanted to hire somebody under the pretext that they were examining, they were checking truancy and who belonged and who didn't belong, and you just can't do that. You can't use your ability to get into the house to then charge somebody with an illegal apartment. But what we do have, and Mrs. Doherty provided it to me, I think the manager would like to send out a notice to people, because we have an ordinance not only prohibiting that, but if you are renting an illegal apartment and you get caught doing it, not only will you get fined, but you'll have to pay for to find replacement housing for the person that you've tenanted in the.
But I understand that in Bloomfield, they got into their apartments. How did they do that?
I'm not sure, and that would depend on, I guess,
They came
on a
in-
case-by-case basis.
They came in with inspectors, they came in with, important people that...
If you have a legitimate purpose to get in there,
So then what we're saying is that we can never get rid of illegal apartments.
I had a house two doors down from me, and the mailman put his mail in my mailbox by mistake. And it said whatever the name was, whatever the address on Hornblower, basement apartment. So I made a copy of all the man's mail, and then I gave it back to the mailman. I brought it up to code enforcement, and I said, look, this guy's living in this house in the basement. So what does code enforcement do? They send a letter, we want to inspect your basement, we'll be there in 2 weeks, and that gave them enough time to take the walls down and put them out in the garage, and when they went there was nothing there.
What about when, say, the firemen and the police get into an apartment and there's somebody sick and they can't see, what's going on?
well, that's, that could fall under the community caretaking exception to the
I understand what
warrant
you're
requirement.
saying, Tom, but how do we do this?
Like Billy said, you put the letter in the tax bill, and like in Bluefield where they fine the guy $10,000, you explain to him in big bold letters, if we catch you harboring illegal apartments or illegal tenants, besides being forced to pay for everything, you're going to get a fine starting at $10,000. Then you get a judge that has the gazoons to fine them.
I don't know if that's going to
Well,
work.
Marie, you gotta start somewhere. If we don't start there and inform them.
I don't know what's
All right, the other thing I want to say is that these houses and these buildings that are in disrepair, maybe we need some more part-time inspectors to start doing these things.
Maybe.
I've listened to all these complaints tonight, and it's all things like this. So hire part-time instead of full-time, but we need to do something, I agree. The streets are not good, the buildings are falling apart, We have rats, well, we're gonna have, you know, with the rats, we'll take care of that. But maybe we need to do some part-time employment to do these things to help us. That's all.
Mayor, please don't move to adjourn. I have something that I'd like to advise the council of. It's important. It involves Councilman Longo. If I am calculating correctly, we last had a meeting, except for the reorg meeting, on June 13th. I don't know if that's correct or not, but I think June 13th was the last meeting, and I believe Councilman Longo participated pursuant to the resolution permitting every member of the governing body to participate by phone. I think that he participated that night. Do you remember? He did. Okay, so what we have now is a little bit of an unusual situation. And this would apply whether or not a member of the governing body was or was not in town. There's a statute, specifically 4816-3. It's what you call a deemer statute. And what it says is the office of a mayor or member of the governing body shall be deemed vacant. And it lists a number of things. And in subsection G, it says, whenever the mayor will be required by law to attend meetings of the governing body, or a member of the governing body fails to attend and participate in any meetings of the governing body for a period of 8 consecutive weeks without being excused by the governing body, a majority of the governing body, what will happen is, and I don't think you want this to happen, the office will be deemed vacant. And what's going to happen here is, I believe, the next meeting is August 8th. If for any meeting, any reason, the meeting is postponed or canceled or whatever, or if Mr. Longo doesn't call in. Now, there was a little bit of a problem with the reorg because that date was changed. And I know he had made travel plans to be here, and it was changed, I guess, from the 20th to the 27th. But that'll be the 8th week. I recommend that somebody move under new business to excuse Mr. Longo's absence this evening. It requires 4 votes. That would start the 8 weeks over again. But I'm telling you, pardon me?
8 weeks?
The statute says 8 weeks. The statute says 8 weeks.
Somebody have the gumption to tell him he's out.
It would only not apply if we've had a couple of situations where members were sick.
He's down in Florida, getting a sunburn.
I don't think it should be shown after the fact, I really don't.
I have an obligation to bring that to your attention so that if on August 8th, the meeting is canceled, the Deemer statute will kick in.
Okay.
Can we vote on it?
No, we're not gonna let it up. Unless somebody brings it up.
No, if nobody brings it up, it's,
Well, this is my opinion on this, okay? Number one, he's not here. He's in Florida.
Yes.
How is he helping the people here?
He's
I
not.
just can't see it. I'm sorry. I'd like to know too, but it's wrong. How's he gonna help us? Is he gonna go get the rats?
He's one of the rats.
Second.
All in favor?
Or call in.
And nobody can go warn him.
Of course you're gonna tip them off.
sure, easily.